Hey, Carl here at Jantz Engineering. We're going to talk about TJs after you lift them and how they handle like crud. And this goes through a lot of vehicles that you lift them and why do they drive all over the road crooked? The main thing is steering geometry. This is the factory track bar, and that goes up here in this little hole right back in there. So from its mounting point on the frame down here, you've got almost 8 inches of difference in height. What that causes is a severe bump steer. For instance, let's line this up. Pretend you're driving down the road and you hit a bump. Boom. You see how that swings upwards and outwards? Every little bump, the whole front end's going sideways a ½ inch. You go into a dip, it's pulling the other way. To get rid of that, you've got to get all this stuff level so that even though it goes up and down, it's you want to get everything level so that even though it's going up and down, it's not moving the rig sideways. You know, to exaggerate, if you're down here, every motion up and down is the same side to side almost. All right, to get all the mounting, we relocate the factory hole up here on this track rod, and that now gets that track rod straight, level to the ground. The next thing is the original TJ had an inverted Y steering. It went over down here to the side of the knuckle, and it wide off over to this side. All that clear stuff. That doesn't work with this setup. So what we used is a later model steering knuckle. It has an upper link and a lower link mount for the steering arm, or the drag link, and then the tie rods to hook into. Now what I don't like about other kits is they want to give you a straight tie bar that goes across the bottom. Now I don't know about you, that's my bottom right there, the bottom of that differential. You put a tie rod across there and lose an inch of ground clearance, that don't go in my book. So then there's other guys that go, well, we can't run a straight tie rod across the front because when you steer, this comes over and it runs in to all the other parts. So they build a trick tie rod with a big bend in it. Now that can be mounted on top, but now look at this. Right here is a space constraint. So this bolt represents the 6 inches of wheel travel we've got between the bump stops. So we've got to make sure we've got clearance for that wheel travel everywhere. If you're running a straight tie rod, look at that. We've only got about 3-4 inches there. You're going to, as soon as that comes up, you're going to crash your tie rods right into your steering box. So that doesn't work. So my solution here is I got a bent tie rod, and you're going to move the camera up so you can kind of go down here. This tie rod's not in a straight line. It's actually joggled a full inch. Thanks to Parts Mike, that's where I got these. That brings the arm out, so when you steer it, it clears. Because if it didn't come out right about now, it'd be crashing into this. So now we've got the tie rod, and it's joggled outboard, and it clears and gives us plenty of room for all our parts. Now I got a little trimming yet to do, because if we go to the extreme angle this way, run our clearance bolt along, you're going to see we might bump right here. So I'm just going to trim that bracket on the line, and then we'll have full clearance. Now, the next thing we've got is a steering ram mounted on here. These are great off-road, but if they're not in sync with your steering box, you can have some handling issues. The beauty of this joggled and bent tie rod is the heim joint now is in basically straight line with the tie rods. I've seen a lot of these systems, when the ram goes side to side, it twists the tie rod, and the tie rod's going back and forth before the wheels start to move. And so you got some lost motion in there. You don't notice it off-road, but on-road, your rig's just twitchy as hell. By putting the heim joint right dead straight with the tie rod ends, you'll see as we rotate that side to side, that's in line and nothing twists anywhere. It just goes along its natural action. Now I had a little clearance issue over here on the side, and it's always a compromise somewhere. So when that thing, if it does rotate, you're going to find that you got that much clearance, and we'll just have to call that good. Oh, one other thing I did when I mounted the I see this all the time on mounts. People will mount things on bolts and they'll let the threads sit in here, and pretty soon you get a lot of slop going on in here because the threads beat themselves down. So the factory, the bolt that was sent with this kit is threaded all the way. I don't let that go out for my customers, because as soon as those threads mash down, this iron's going to be jumping back and forth and giving handling issues. So I take a longer bolt. Sometimes this takes a few washers and creativity. Take a longer bolt so you've got a full shank through there, and you got solid on solid, and you don't get those wear things. Let's see. I think that about covers it. This rig should now handle like a dream instead of being a trailer queen. Need any tie rod parts? Call Carl at Jantz Engineering. Thank you.